We've probably all been there, wanting a specific football boot so much that we've become completely oblivious to what other boot options we have out there. So today I'm giving you my top 5 best football boot alternatives, giving you a few suggestions to what you can get instead of the very most popular high-end expensive models and still get somewhat of the same feel, fit and performance out of it. And who knows, you might also save a bit of money in the process. In 5th place we have the adidas X17 Plus PURESPEED and the Under Armour Spotlight. Now, the X17 Plus is a lovely football boot, one of my personal favorites, but it's also €300. And if you don't have that much money and you still want the big, lovely, clean striking surface, the very sharp but also slightly soft touch on the ball, perhaps you also want the sock-like sensation you get from the low-cut ankle cuff, and even perhaps that relatively responsive sole plate, well then the Spotlight will actually give you an experience that is somewhat close to that of the X17 Plus. And okay, then there is the matter of the zipper that you're gonna have to deal with, but apart from that, this is actually a very good alternative for just €200. Save money, get the same experience. In 4th, I was struggling a little bit to find a decent alternative for the €290 Superfly 5. So what I came up with was, okay, it was a little bit far-fetched, to say the least, but it was the best I could do because the Umbro Medusa II here will give you a knitted ankle collar. It will give you an upper that's not very thick, so it has around the same thickness as the Superfly, and the sole plate is also relatively thin and responsive, and it's €203, so I would say that it is acceptably close to the Superfly. And then of course there is another alternative, the JayMike Champion Max, which I don't think takes a master's degree in nuclear science to see that it looks somewhat similar to the Superfly 5. Actually, it looks exactly like the Superfly 5. Okay, so say you've got your eyes peeled on the PUMA ONE, but you don't have the €200 to get it. What you gonna do? Well, you're gonna get the alternative that's placed in 3rd, the Nike Premier 2.0. And while you will, lose out on the whole Evo knit thing sock game, well still, you will get that same level of thickness on the leather. It's lovely, it's soft, it's extremely padded, and you get the same sensation on the ball as you get in the PUMA ONE. And combining that with it being a relatively comfortable and nimble package, the Premier is a really good one alternative at just €100. Of course, that combined with the quality makes it a really good alternative to any leather boot, but fit, feel and performance-wise, it is really relatively close to the one. Number 2, 2nd place, might not necessarily be an alternative to the Nike Mercurial Opus 2. Well, it is, but they're actually equally good, I would say. They cost the same amount of money, €220. They're both really comfortable. They will give you a good amount of grip on the ball, and they are just really lovely spraying passes all over it. And okay, the Opus might be slightly more comfortable with a bit of a softer upper, whereas the Clutchfit will give you a bit more texturing and grip on the ball. But actually they are really similar, and whichever you decide to go with, well, you've made a good choice. Like for like, I would say. So, honorable mentions, what could we... Oh yes, Nike Tiempo Legend 7, decent performer, €220. But if you don't necessarily want a modern leather boot with a fly-knit tongue, you should take a look at the Mizuno Replica made in Indonesia, because while you won't get that seamless fit from the fly-knit tongue and you won't get that awesome sole plate that sits on the Legend 7, you will get a leather experience that I would say is far superior to what you get on the Legend, and it'll cost you €20 less at €200. I'm just saying. Pro tip. Number 1, my favorite boot, the Vapor 11. And I know why you want it, but if you don't have the €220 it takes to get it, the Umbro Velocita IIIs might just save the day. Because the fit is extremely tight, it's very nice. The touch on the ball is super sharp and pretty crisp, and the sole plate is thin and it's relatively responsive like we saw on the Medusa, because it's the same plate. And it only weighs 194 grams, making it a pretty lightweight boot on your feet as well. And of course, if I had the money, I would choose the Vapor 11 10 times out of 10. But at €160, the Velocity is actually a pretty good speed boot alternative that will bring you somewhat close to that awesome sensation of the Vapors. and that in itself is a pretty big achievement. So there you go, guys, a go-to list of awesome suggestions if you're looking for an alternative to the most expensive high-end boots out there, either because you want something different than the popular mainstream boots, stand out on a pitch, be the connoisseur, or quite frankly because you can't afford them. But do you have any good suggestions to other good boot alternatives? You should let me know in the comment section right down below. Also, while you're at it, don't forget to check out our other cool top 5s by clicking down here. Don't forget to subscribe to see more epic football boot videos by clicking the green bubble up here. Slap a thumbs up on the video if you had a good time, and don't forget to share this video with your bro-migos. And with that said, I'm signing off. Cheerio.